Welcome to the Compliance Weekly on the 22nd of April. And I'll share the milestone board and we'll quickly go through the closed issues. Although I'm not sure how quick this is going to be, as we have a lot of issues to get through. Everyone can see that.
Mhm.
Cool. So the first one was add a check in project compliance evaluator worker to check if framework is applied to a project with Sam, who's on not here. Anyone else know?
Yeah. So in the evaluator worker, uh, uh, suppose if a project has been added to the queue for evaluation with a certain framework, and at that time the framework was removed from the project, so we should not go ahead with the evaluation and save some computing resource. So this check actually helps us.
Nice. The next was add all available projects to the project section. The update framework. Ah, yes. So this is live now, and that was just adding in the ability to add them all. Change behavior of controls update service, Hasima.
Yeah, we wanted to change the behavior of the update service where it should not just delete all controls and update the changes. So it's deployed and done.
Nice. Yeah, add select all functionality. So along with that previous one, this just adds the select all functionality to projects in the framework edit page now, which is great for adding projects, applying projects directly to frameworks. And this is the same one again, just adding the pagination for that. Oh, this was the back-end work for adding that project section. Yes, so we added with external controls, you need the ID of that external control to be able to change the status of it. So we added to the UI the ability to copy the control ID for an external control, so making it easier to use that to update via the API. Next was increase the limit on compliance requirements description. So thank you to the security team that helped us create all of the templates for the status report. But as we went through those, we found a lot of the descriptions were bigger than our 250 character limit, so we increased it to 500 to accommodate that change. And this was all of those JSON templates are now in the adherence are now in that adherence folder. So we've got, I think it's 20 different frameworks that can be downloaded and imported into a compliance framework now, which is fantastic. So this was adding the search and filtering to that new project section in the framework editing page, which makes it easier. This was the follow-up to some of the documentation that we did on custom compliance frameworks. So we've got a lot of good docs in there now about how to use it. Thank you, Evan, for your help there. Follow up on that one. Just some small stuff. External control status not showing earlier.
Mhm. Uh, sure. I believe this one was actually fixed by other one, so it was just closed as is. It was fixed by other merge request, so it was like no action actually taken on this issue. it was fixed by backend side.
Nice, even better. Create update project requirement status for control status, Hatish.
So we added a new table for storing the aggregated compliance status for a project and requirement in a new table. So whenever a corresponding control status is updated or created or deleted, the corresponding requirement status will also be created, updated, and or deleted.
Good. Cool. And again, more work from Dakota on the project section inside of the frameworks. So this just adds a toggle so that you can just show the ones that are assigned to the framework already or show the ones that aren't as well. Trigger call to external control, Hatish.
So in the project compliance evaluator worker, we are not making a call to the external controls for the evaluation. The MR for this enables that. So now the statuses of external controls are also being updated.
Yes, awesome. Add external control UI. So I verified this one as well. So this was just adding the ability to add the API URL and the HMAC secret through the UI, which has all been deployed and working well, seemingly. We've got 3 feature flag rollouts for evaluate compliance controls. Hasma?
Yeah, this one is related to the cron job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hatish, the enable adherence report and enable stale compliance status removal.
Yeah. So one is for enabling the APIs for the actual new dashboard. The other one is for removing the control requirement and control statuses for a project whenever a framework is removed from the project.
Cool. And then check policy controls as part of control status evaluation. Hasma?
Yeah, so we are now also checking policy controls inside the evaluation for a control.
And is that just the merge request policies?
Yeah, these are merge request approval policies.
Yeah. The next 4 are with you, Hatish.
So the first one is remove control expression column from requirement table and its references. It is a part of a cleanup. Earlier, we planned to add the controls and their expressions in a JSON column in the requirements. Later, we decided to move on to separate table for controls. So this MR removed the drop the columns for requirement type as well as requirement expression from the requirements table. The other one is update compliance requirement statuses when control status is deleted. So whenever a control is deleted, its corresponding control status will also get deleted, and when that gets deleted, uh, the status counts in the corresponding requirement status should also get updated, or the requirement status should get deleted if there was only one control for that requirement. So the MR for this issue handles that. The next one is delete project control and requirement statuses when framework is removed from project. So we created another sidekick worker, which destroys all the project control and requirement statuses whenever a framework is removed from the project, and we are initiating that worker with a delay of 5 minutes just to give a grace period of 5 minutes to the user in case they removed the framework accidentally and added it back within those 5 minutes. The other one is validate internal control expression and name. So we are not validating the name of the control with the control expression for the predefined controls. In case of compliance control, so this MR adds the MR for this issue adds that validation so that it can happen only in case where the control is being created from a GraphQL API, not via the UI. So this removes that possibility too.
Nice. And then the final one was implement metrics for ultimate organizations with compliance framework labels. With Andrew, I believe, completed that. Right. Service pin metrics. Nice. All right. And then next up is the planning. So the first one was custom compliance framework improvements. Hitesh or Ilya?
Well, Nate, I think you missed some of the issues which were close for 18.0 milestone.
Oh, yes.
Should we go on with that or leave it?
How many were there? 15 as well. You lot are closing too many, doing too much work. It's making it hard to keep up. Right. We've got the GTM plan for compliance frameworks, project compliance, standard adherence, foreign key. Is anyone able to talk to this one without Sam here?
I can talk about this one. So, I mean, I just got an MR merge today this morning related to this issue where we are now allowing null namespace, null as a valid value in the namespace ID for project compliance standards adherence table so that we don't have this bug which prevents groups from getting deleted. And the long-term fix is that we would anyway be deleting this table entirely once we have the new custom compliance frameworks rolled out. So we would be just deleting this table. So hopefully this should resolve the issues of groups being prevented from deleting.
Right, yeah. Hopefully we can get some metrics come through soon and remove that sooner rather than later. Next was investigate update accordion requirements. Ilya?
Yeah. Well, it is pretty much trivial. The basic accordion available in GitLab UI does not have all required functionality for us. So we've added a custom accordion implementation, which is now used in a couple of places, thanks to Nate, inside our compliance center. So we have a nice UX for our accordions.
Fantastic. Distinguish audit events for custom admin roles. CRUD events. Did anyone help with this one? No. Skip over it then. Merge circuit breaker MR for audit event streaming. Worker. This was closed as a duplicate as it is the same as the
Yeah, I can discuss about this one. I mean, I was currently reviewing the MR and then I also saw Hitesh's message on Slack recently, and even I was wondering if we need to merge this right now or like just reducing the retries from the default 25 to 3 should also help us in preventing the sidekick backlogs that we are getting when the traffic spikes. So even if we have a bad destination, that will just be retried 3 times and not retried later. But right now we have like 25 retries, which takes around 7 days to actually, I mean, it's exponentially back off retry, which takes around 7 days to actually get off from the queue. So I think if we reduce that to 3, we should probably should be enough for us to reduce the load on the sidekick queues. And then later on, if we still find issues, probably then we can rethink on like adding this kind of logic to the workflow. The only reason why I'm saying this is because personally, I think this makes the entire streaming logic a bit too complex than it should be. Uh, and I just wanted to make sure, like, should we introduce this? I mean, do we really need this, or just reducing the retries should help us mitigate? So, yeah, if anyone else want to add, like Hitesh or Harshil or anyone?
Reducing retries will actually help in tackling the same issues with AWS, GCP, or other kind of destinations too, because this the issue for the MR for this issue will only handle issues with HTTP destinations. So I think that is a very simple solution which we can put, and it will help us in such situations.
Harshil, do you want to add anything? I mean, you reviewed the MR initially.
I think if adding circuit breaker actually helps us also identifying bad destinations and completely removing or not enqueuing any other jobs into the queue for that particular destination, then it's better approach. But for now, I think reducing retries is the first thing that we should do.
But when we do that circuit breaker thing, then I think there should also be a feedback or something which should be given to the user, like we have blocked this destination and we won't be streaming any further events.
Yeah, yeah, agree.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely want to have some notification system to the user about the reason behind it and what's happening. And at each point of the circuit breaking out to the 7 days or whatever the time frame is. I think also just having the inactive streams is going to be, it's just a core functionality that we probably should have as well. So just being able to turn off streams but keep the configuration, because at the moment the only way to turn them off is to delete them, which then removes them altogether. So now on GitLab.com they had to delete it altogether and then they'll have to reconfigure it later, which is annoying. So if we can just add an active inactive flag anyway. But yeah, not sure that automatically doing that needs to happen right now, or if we can just do these other bits and work on that as part, like towards that solution. Cool. So the next three were the SOC 2 controls, ISO 27000 controls, and GitLab inventory controls, which Andrew has been working on and got them all through. They have been tested and validated in another issue. Compliance adherence report for SAS scanning showing inconsistent results. Atish?
So there was an issue with the the existing standard adherence dashboard. I closed it. We have closed it in favor of the new dashboard, which has handled this properly.
Cool. And the next one was with me. Oh, yes. It was just updating the UI with all of the descriptions for the different controls, the 57 controls that we have for how all the fix things. Next one's with Hitesh again.
So whenever a framework is applied to a project, we immediately enqueue the worker for project evaluation, project compliance status valuation with a delay of 5 minutes, just in case the user removes the framework from the project within the 5 minutes, mistakenly added it.
Nice. And then the last two are with Sheldon.
Yeah, they're both related. So one is in the UI for streaming destinations, we start using the new API, and the other is because the new API allows event type and namespace filtering for all destinations. So we update the UI to so that all streaming destinations can add filtering. Both are implemented behind a feature flag. I found an issue with the HTTP destination. There's some data misconfiguration there. I'll create an issue and tag Nate and Andrew to have a look. And once that is sorted, then we can roll out the UI, the new UI.
Perfect. All right, now we'll jump over to the planning. Custom compliance framework improvements, Satish or Ilya?
I am currently working on an MR on an issue for sorting, for adding a new parameter for sorting the responses that we provide in new compliance dashboard API, so that we can add the functionality of grouping the statuses via projects, requirements, and frameworks. Uh, yeah, mostly I'm working on that.
Okay, so since no material updates from my side, as soon as we will have sorting, I will be jumping on grouping, which will be not the most easiest part on the front end, but I hope we'll make it this milestone.
Cool. Next is sales, Hasima.
Yes. So I started working on the on adding the event scope in the instance controller. Um, I will have a draft MR ready this week.
Yes. And the out-of-the-box controls with Andrew. I think the only ones left are the CI's benchmark, and thank you to Darby if you're watching this, working his way slowly through that list, which is a big list of requirements, but looking well on track. Consolidation of tables, Hitesh.
I think I don't have much idea about it, but I think the migrations for moving the data from old table to new tables might be getting finalized. They are already merged and the data might be getting finalized.
Okay. Oh, so that might have been the issue that Sheldon just referred to, but yeah, cool. Group overview dashboard, Hasima and Ilya.
Yeah. So I've started on working on the implementation plan. Should have ready by end of week. Uh, Ilya can take a look and give feedback from the front end perspective.
Nice. Violations, Huzaifa.
I haven't started working on this. I was just reading the blueprint that you had created, and I would start working on, like, if I have any improvements or suggestions, I can create a draft MR on that, and then create issues within the epic. So I probably plan to complete that this week.
Nice. And then out of the box templates, Hitesh.
Uh, I did not had time to work on this. I was focusing on the improvements, the urgent improvements for the compliance framework, and adding the feature flag for disabling streaming in workers for a specific.
Makes sense. Yeah. And then the final one is improve group metrics with Sam. I know we had that one metric already merged, and there's another one in final review at the moment. Anything else that anyone wants to discuss? Because there's nothing else in the agenda. We've got no design or QA updates. All right, I'll stop the recording. Wave to the camera.